Tale of Two Citations, dramatic non-reading by WAPTech. Secular increases of astronomical unit from analysis of the major planet motions and its interpretation by G.A. Krasinsky and V.A. Brumberg. There's another name that keeps being put in with Krasinsky, and it's on Natural News and Spirit Science web pages talking about how you can do some sort of woo. Anyway, this was done in 2004, and it was in the Celestial Mechanics and Dynamical Astronomy issue number 90 on page 267 to 288, and it's a 22-page paper which describes a very specific claim. And you're open to interpret this, and I'm interpreting it. Now I'm going to just go through the pages here very quickly, but there it is again, referring to it. Time-space metrics and equations, planetary motion. And it's doing all the equations for orbital mechanics and various other things concerning information that was collected as of 2004. Einstein effect for light propagation in the expanding universe. Secular increases of the astronomical unit, observed evidences. Now this is where the information came from. For the aim of this work only, radiometric observations of the major planets have been used as the most accurate ones. Now remember, this is a paper someone did, it was rather old at the time, on a specific thing that was being observed, trying to explain and understand it. Dynamical model of, and then you get the idea here, continuing. Estimation of the parameters. Orbital elements for various planets, etc. Okay. Observation and dates, etc. Statistics for post-fit residuals. Now, unless you know what these units are, you're going to have to stop here. And you're going to have to go learn a bunch of stuff first. But we're going to get to partial conclusions here. That equation at the bottom, d over dt, difference over time, over an AU equals, and this is the equation he came up with, 15 plus or minus 4 m over cy. Cy stands for century, not year. M4, or 4m, is meters. And it's 15 plus or minus 4 meters every century. So it could be as low as 9 meters or as high as 20 meters every century of deviation in the astronomical unit, but it could be up or down. Is this answer? Discussion of the results. This is theoretical, etc. But here we go. On the top there, it talks about a 16.7 meters per century progression or regression in how far the astronomical unit is. Or if you want to interpret that way, the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. And it's based on all observations estimating parameters of corona for orbits and masses of planets from 1961 to 2003. The next one is only 9.7, and it's all observations the same, except it excludes corona for the orbits. And then it gets smaller as deviation, all observations also including masses of the major planets and the parameters of corona itself. Now we get to the point you start seeing a trend where it gets a lower and lower deviation, more tending towards no deviation at all, or a deviation that would fall into the parameter of being within error of observation since 1961 forward. Now we get to 1971 through 2003, landers and orbiter data included shows 14.4 meters over a 1 century duration, or 1.5 meters of disruption in the Earth's orbit in a year. No, that's a decade. it would be 0.4 or 144 centimeters deviation per year. Take out a ruler and find out that number. Worst case is 61, and that's based on ranging landers, not orbiters. And just landers is 21. We're seeing a lot of variation here. Now, what is this supposed to do? First assertion you get from the Woo Peddler pages is one of two things. The Earth is careening into space, and we're going to be a planet floating in space. Because misinterpreting this by not knowing it means century versus year means that someday in the far-flung future, Earth will not orbit the sun. The other one is discussing the idea that time-space is warping, so the speed of light isn't a static number, and you see this on woo-peddling pages and anti-science pages, including creationism pages. Yes, creationism is unfortunately decided to become an anti-science subject instead of being a concordance. Next. Yeah, this makes total sense. Next. Here are the citations pages. Wow! So anyway, next. Those are in... I don't like integrals. Anyway, next. I'm sure that's not what I'm thinking it is. Now, basically, you'd have to go through this to find out what it all means. Alright? So, what have we learned here? We've learned that WAPTEC can't count pages. Now, on here, I'm going to be discussing something very important. Very, very critically important in a second. I stuck something in here that has nothing to do with their paper on page 22. So this is page 23. You're going to see in the next. Okay, the paper's assertion is the Earth's orbit is moving away from the sun at 10 or 15 meters per century, which means every year it's about, could be 100 to 150 centimeters. Look that up. The astronomical unit is changing, and it's an excerpt from page 267 to 288 of a published paper thing, number 90. And it was done by a person and another. And his interpretation of it as of 2004. It is not time travel proof NASA insider possible speed of light changing. It's not associated with someone who's assertions about herself I'm going to read here. Yes, this is a person who is a serious scientist at NASA, but this is what she said about herself at the time when this idea came up and is being somehow connected to this other paper. A person who claims to be an actress in film, television, and stages from Honolulu to Houston, a former NASA scientist as of today, Louise riofrio, who seeks black holes in some unexpected places, even within the Earth. Now I'm going to stop right there. There is not a black hole within the Earth. It is a bizarre assertion for someone who wishes to be taken seriously. Or maybe it's just an expression to get a conversation started. This person claimed that before she graduated from college, apparently, that the speed of light is slowing down somehow. She originated the equation, which I'm going to use in the title, GM equals TC cubed, as a theory, which explains the dark energy problem physicists still can't explain. And this is being, if this person's not aware of it, reposted on pop science pages and a lot of anti-science pages as proof positive, take that science, NASA's debunked. And as a whistleblower. G, in this case, is Newton's gravitational constant. M is the mass of the universe estimate. You get a problem right there. And T is the age of the universe estimated, cubed. All it means is that time-space distortion causes an alteration in time based on the cube root or the cube of time-space. Now, let's just go on with this. Speed of light is inversely proportional to the cube root of the age of the universe. It must speed up or slow down. The older the universe gets, the slower light is supposed to work as an absolute constant. That's her hypothesis or theory. And she's written a book called Speed of Light. It's a paperback. And apparently, last time I checked, she had a GoFundMe or a PayPal page or something trying to promote this. So the assertion lately is time travel's possible. Now I'm going to read yet another thing she posted, and the links are below. The giant planet Saturn's magnetic poles coincide with its geographic poles almost exactly. Jets of charged particles exit and enter there, creating hot spots in the atmosphere. Saturn's North Pole, the outgoing and ingoing streams crowd together. This crowding forces the field lines into a six-sided shape. No, it does not. The Great Hexagon of Saturn, that's a set of storms caused by turbulence and gases. This has been demonstrated and tested. You can do the same thing in a tabletop model with literally oil, water, and silt and get the same effect. It's a dynamic effect in a system that happens to be rotating at a certain number of, at a certain resonant frequency mechanically through rotation in a non-solid object. Saturn isn't a solid mass, you know. Anyway, magnetic fields and polar jets of charged particles, telltale signs of a black hole. No, it's not. That really isn't. That's the magnetic fields and polar jets and charged particles are telltale signs of a black hole rotating on its axis, yes. But a black hole wouldn't permit a gas planet, much less a solid Earth, to exist without collapsing. You're attempting to throw out literally gravity, which means, of course, flat earthers will love this lady. These would be tiny objects, relics of the Big Bang. Yeah, until they started collecting matter, in which case a fairly large black hole would actually collect. And unless it's totally balanced in the middle and incredibly tiny, it isn't going to create any magnetic field. I mean, it really would, and even then it wouldn't create a magnetic field outside of a planet like Earth that has iron deposits in the ground. It would be a very weak magnetic source. Why is she posting this? Their continued presence would explain both Earth's core heat and magnetic field. But the torsion on the Earth being non-solid causes some heating, and the fact that there's a lot of uranium metals in the Earth's subduction zones and stuff also goes there. Also, why are you invoking black holes? Anyway, the centers of Earth and Saturn would be excellent places to find them. Black holes. No, it isn't. Now, I don't know what her accreditations are for this other than that, but the fact that she listed, before talking about NASA, that she's an actress? Anyway, she's going to be the darling of YouTube in a while, but she's not associated with Krasinsky. It was Brumberger that was. And I'm going to put all of the names in the video's title and try to clear this up. Now, warning to anybody flagging this. I know this belongs to Celestial Mechanics and Dynamical Astronomy, issue number 90, but this is an excerpt of an excerpt, and, more importantly, this is to prevent misinformation like this from getting out and being attached to his work. That note down there doesn't belong there. I put it in to make a point. This last part is not on the same level. Anyway, the astronomical unit is a way we measure things, and it may have to be changed because it's simply wrong, or because the Earth wobbles a bit, and maybe we'd have to average it out more. But even this has been critiqued because, oh, you didn't know that? He's been peer-reviewed since 2004, and it's been found that he might have made some simple math errors that would make all of this go away. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Bye.